We've got something really special for you guys today, especially if you follow my Rust and Pieces blog. This is a dream factory of sorts because this is where old Ford Mustangs come to be reborn. Welcome to Classic Speed. Let's check it out. Located in a nondescript warehouse within the Clark Freeport zone, the only indication that something special goes on inside of Classic Speed is half a Mustang coupe shell that is mounted above the large entrance.
The original thinking was that you had to have finished cars to sell cars. And what we found that every time someone looked at a car, they said, "Oh, I love that, but I'd like to add this type of trim, or I'd like to do this with the engine, or I'd like to have this type of paintwork." So we stopped making cars and we started custom building for clients only.
Hayden tells us that the works of art that come out of Classic Speed undergo a very long and tedious process.
The process generally is like George will be buying the cars out of the US. We bring them in, they're at the condition that you've already seen. And then at the same time, I discuss with the client and say, look, we've got a 1967 shell available. If you want to do a GT500 Eleanor clone or you want to do something like that, we can use this 67 body. The client will go through the build sheet and go through a very detailed list of all the specifications that he wants. He signs off, places a deposit, then everything goes into play. We'll order the engines out of the US, we'll order all the panels from where we need to, we'll get all the parts from the major suppliers. And while all that's happening, and while all that's being organised and shipped in the US, the car goes immediately into denting and the guys start working on Now, when you think we're putting as much as 4,000 hours in the average build, just the hourly rate to have that done in the West is inconceivable. That would already rate the car at more than the labour alone before we bought a part would be as much as people would want to be spending on these cars.
Classic Speed made Clark Freeport Zone its headquarters because it's a great hub for shipping abroad. But much bigger than that, Philippines has a really big talent pool.
Filipino people are great to work with, great technicians, it's a little bit of science and a lot of art in this. To hammer out those guards out of metal and all the rest of it, there wouldn't be a handful of guys in Australia that would have the ability to be able to do that. Metalwork is a next level fantastic here,
Just want to introduce you to Joey. Joey looks after just about everything down this end of the factory. So he's been with us from the get-go, from the beginning, and he's just a major part of the crew here, and we're grateful to have him. He's a good guy as well.
Yep. There's a customer very, very particular. He wanted a bonnet built for his car, and they spent 6 weeks on that bonnet. He said he's never been able to source it, he's never been able to find anyone who would make it. He couldn't believe that we actually made this for him in steel.
Another good example is I searched the internet, I couldn't find a comfortable shifter for our cars. We now have shoulder belts in the cars that'll lock under acceleration, and we couldn't quite reach the shifter. So I've actually designed a solid billet stainless steel shifter, and working with our machine shop, we now have those standard in every car, and they're shaped ergonomically for our cars.
This really is a dream factory. And the guys who make this dream come true are our kababayans. 87 Filipinos work at Classic Speed, and they're responsible for making show-quality restorations. Imagine, every model of Classic Mustang comes in here in dilapidated condition, and in 10 months or so, they come out looking, wow, show quality, show quality. We should be really, really proud. World-class work happens at Classic Speed, and it's done by Filipinos.
That's one thing that these guys will do here and no one can match. This is custom built exactly to the client's specifications, the way he wants it, by hand. This is not robots. This is not production lines. This isn't cars coming out every 58 seconds. I say here and now, I know of no company that will make these steel bonnets with grills, the whole thing in, and make them by hand.
This is a 351 stroke to a 427 cubic inch engine. It's 615 horsepower to flywheel with the Inglace 8-stack electronic fuel injection. Let's see how it goes.
Classic car restoration dreams come true. Man, a lot of magic happens here. So for more of this story, pick up the latest issue of Top Gear Philippines.